I do remember the first time I did a tag publicly was in a schoolyard near where I grew up in the South Bronx. It was a little crash tag. This was like 1975. Well, I was always painting as a child. I was always painting and drawing, but the primary motivation was my friends who were doing graffiti before I was. They saw that I was doing some little sketches. They were doing it, and they said, hey, why don't you try and do it also? And so the primary motivation was them. The secondary motivation was just, I want to try it. I want to see if I can do it. I mean, going back to that time, we never thought about it changing, the world. Everyone was painting for their own motivation, like you said. We didn't think anything of it. It was just doing our names. It was a way of doing something in the public, and never thought about it, I think the primary reason why it blossomed, it was because it's a rebellious art. It was from the streets. There was no wanting to make money. It was driven by anger, by society. So I think the reason why people adapted to it, like for movies, because it was so rebellious. It was anti this or anti that. It wasn't something that was for the home. It was not. To be part of a crew, to be asked to be part of a crew is always an honor, because they see that what you're doing is fused to what they do. So if they ask you to be a part of it, that's kind of cool. So I was part of a few of them, like TDS and CIA, all these groups. So it's an honor. To pinpoint some of the guys from back then who I respected, actually a lot of them are dead. They died. Like Case 2 and Dondi, they're different artists. But then there's some that's still living, like Lee and Futura, Days, and some of the street artists like Cause. There's a mutual respect, and seeing what they do, and it captures my imagination. It makes me want to work harder. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of nice. Again, it was totally illegal, so we couldn't, you couldn't be seen. I mean, people back then, the wall is white and then the next day it's painted. And they never saw, how did that happen? Because we did it in the middle of the night. It was illegal. So a lot of crews that did that, again, to do it is one thing. And then to have a crew get it together to do something really big, it's like the subways. It's the same thing. You just do it. We didn't think of anything, just to do it. Find interesting outside of graffiti. Well, I mean, I've always said Jasper Johns has always been intriguing to me. The pop artists, I love abstract expressionism. I love the Italian futurists. So, it all depends. I love art, so, but what I really like is someone like Jasper Johns. Something, he could take something and recreate it over and over and give it a new life, which is really interesting to me. I think, Crash John. I always come with the idea to show people that there's more to it than just a tag. It starts with a tag, but suppose you take the tag and you develop it. You know, that's why I always like to have young people around. I said, but let me see what you're doing, and like, okay, so how about if you do this bigger? Because it takes creativity to take a circle and make it something bigger. So whenever I do an exhibition, like here, the challenge is how do you communicate? How do you communicate to the young people? How do you communicate to the older people? Because the older people don't like the younger people because of what they're doing. So how do you put them together? So something like this, like they'll be here. The young person like, see, they do the tag, and the father's like, yeah, but look, see, it's art because on cameras. It's the same thing. They're just like perception. So that's why the challenge, I love the challenge. So let's see what comes out of it. Yeah, that's a good question. There's always dreams. Sure. I mean, okay, one dream is to be able to paint a Formula One car, have it race. Something like that. And I have friends in in Formula One, so maybe if they see this, maybe. Yeah, there's always challenges.